A young family moved into a small but cozy apartment in the heart of the city. At first, everything went smoothly. Their jobs were stable, and every evening meal was filled with laughter as they gathered around the dinner table. But it did not take long before strange changes began to creep in. The husband started acting distracted, tired, and easily irritated, while problems kept popping up at work for no clear reason. Their little child often left meals unfinished, saying, "The dining table looks scary," even though there was nothing visibly wrong. And the wife began to feel that every time they sat down to eat, the atmosphere turned cold and disconnected, unlike before. It was not until one evening, while tidying up, that the wife accidentally noticed something. The dining table had become completely empty. All the familiar items that used to sit on it had been removed during rushed cleaning sessions. And ever since then, family meals had lost their flavor. The space lacked a visual anchor, along with the emotional warmth it once held. In Feng Shui, the dining table is not just a place to eat. It is considered the energetic heart of the home, a space that holds the feeling of abundance, harmony, and connection among family members. When the objects that help maintain that balance are removed, the table can become a cold void, and that emptiness quietly disrupts the gentle sense of stability that people subconsciously rely on in shared living spaces. So, what are the items that help preserve that warmth and stability? In today's video, we are going to uncover the objects that should always be kept on your dining table to maintain balance and attract good energy. Because even just one missing piece can throw off the entire energy of your living space. But before we begin, take a moment to say a positive affirmation to open the flow of good energy into your own home. My home is welcoming light, blessings, and prosperity. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button so every piece of wisdom you receive today can help expand your wealth and raise the vibration of abundance in your home. So now, let us dive into the essential items that should never be removed from your dining table. Those seemingly small things that actually play a vital role in maintaining warmth, stability, and even the financial energy of your home. First item, fresh flowers. Fresh flowers on the dining table are like the first breath of life in the kitchen. Among the plates, silverware, and the flat surface of the table, a small bouquet with gentle colors instantly softens the space. For many families, especially those living in cities, a vase of flowers serves as a daily reminder of nature and of the life continuing outside, even when the chaos of work and responsibilities keeps everyone busy. Just sitting down and seeing the flowers can make a meal feel lighter and more pleasant. In modern Feng Shui, fresh flowers represent a flow of moving energy. But to put it simply, where there is life, people naturally feel more open-hearted. A dining table without flowers often looks bare, cold, and lacks a focal point, making the room feel stiff, as if it is just a place to eat, not a space to connect. On the other hand, a small but well-kept flower arrangement brings a sense of care and refinement, turning each meal into a complete experience rather than a daily routine. Many people have experienced a subtle discomfort when flowers on the table suddenly wilt unusually fast, as if the energy in the room became heavy overnight. From a practical Feng Shui perspective, this is not a sign of something mystical. It is usually a small reflection of the environment. Maybe the air in the house is stale, lighting is unbalanced, windows stay shut too often, or household members are under stress. A wilting bouquet might simply be a gentle reminder that it is time to refresh the living space. Open the windows, declutter, change the flowers, or slow down and share a calm meal together. That is why keeping fresh flowers on the dining table is more than just pretty decoration. It is a soft way to nurture warmth, mindfulness, and a sense of abundance in the home. When the table has a lively touch, people naturally linger longer, talk more, and meals become a moment to recharge both body and soul. A space like this supports emotional stability, wise financial decisions, and a deeper sense of ease, foundations of any true prosperity. Second item, a water carafe. A clear water carafe on the dining table often brings a sense of calm that people may not even consciously notice. The still surface of water can slow down the fast pace of life, acting as a visual pause that allows your breath to deepen and relax. In a busy household, a simple water carafe becomes a balancing point, a space where both light and emotion can settle. In practical Feng Shui, water represents gentle movement and the ability to soothe the mind. Placed on the table, water does not carry any mystical meaning. It simply creates a natural sense of harmony that makes meals feel more peaceful and visually pleasing. Without water, the table might sometimes feel too dry, lacking the soft flow needed for a relaxed meal. Water in a carafe also adds a sense of clarity, like a layer of daily freshness. Just by changing the water, the entire table can suddenly feel brighter and cleaner, and that lightness often translates into people's moods. The calm presence of water turns mealtime into a moment for the mind to rest, helping each family member be more present and enjoy each other's company more fully. So keeping a water carafe on the table is not just a nice habit. It helps regulate the energy of the space. When the surroundings feel comfortable, people tend to think more clearly, make better decisions, and interact more gently. These may seem like small effects, but they create a strong foundation for a stable and prosperous family life. Third item, fresh fruit. A bowl of fresh fruit on the dining table brings a sense of completeness that few other items can match. The natural colors of apples, oranges, grapes, or bananas quietly brighten the room, not in an overwhelming way, but just enough to lift the mood. When people see fresh fruit, their spirits are often lifted too, as if nature itself is reminding them of abundance and harmony within their own home. In modern Feng Shui, fruit represents emotional and physical nourishment, not for spiritual reasons, but because people naturally respond to freshness and natural color. A bowl of fruit adds warmth and life to the dining table, making meals feel more enjoyable and intimate. Without it, the space can sometimes feel flat, missing the closeness that is so important in family meals. Fruit also carries its own rhythm of nature. When it is fresh, it signals prosperity. When it starts to fade, it gently reminds us that our kitchen needs a little more attention. These natural changes encourage us to stay mindful about keeping the space clean, tidy, and harmonious. There is nothing supernatural here, just a simple interaction between what we see, how we feel, and how we live every day. That is why a bowl of fruit is not just for show. It reflects the care and attentiveness within the home. Its presence adds emotional fullness, as if the dining space itself is infused with warmth and thoughtfulness through the smallest of details. When the home feels fresh and complete, people feel more secure, more open, and tend to view life with greater optimism. And it is these positive emotional states that naturally support a stable and prosperous household. Fourth item, bread. A loaf of bread on the dining table brings a sense of comfort and everyday nourishment. Its simple shape and warm tones make the space feel welcoming, like a symbol of steady care and grounding. For many families, bread is a reminder of practical love something to eat, to share, and to feel safe with. In modern Feng Shui, bread symbolizes fullness and stability, not in a mystical way, but through a very human perspective. People feel more at ease when they know the household has what it needs, something stored and ready. Bread is a clear example. When it is on the table, it does not just add food, it signals warmth and reliability, as if to say, this family always has a meal to return to. Without it, the table can feel a bit too empty, lacking that quiet sense of reassurance. Bread's presence adds a feeling of care and sufficiency to the environment. It may not be fancy, but its simplicity brings emotional balance. When a meal gives the impression that everything is thoughtfully prepared, people feel less stressed, more relaxed, and less anxious about lack. Bread occupies a special place, not just as food, but as a subtle symbol of consistency that often goes unnoticed. So keeping bread on the dining table offers more value than it might seem. It makes the space feel fuller, warmer, and emotionally richer. When even the small details create a sense of sufficiency, people feel more at ease in their thoughts, more confident in their actions, and more open in how they approach decisions, especially those related to life and finances. Emotional abundance often goes hand in hand with spiritual abundance, and that is the natural foundation of prosperity in any home. Fifth item, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper may be small, but they create a special kind of balance on the dining table. Like tiny accents of contrast, they help complete the space. The lightness of the salt and the warm, earthy tone of the pepper balance each other, giving the table a tidy, grounded feel. Despite their size, their presence makes everything seem ready, as if nothing essential is missing from the meal. In real life Feng Shui, salt represents cleanliness and clarity, while pepper reflects warmth and alertness. These are not mystical meanings, but very human ones. Salt makes a space feel neat and clean. Pepper evokes vibrancy and warmth. Together, they bring a sense of just right, not too much, not too little, that makes people more comfortable as they eat. Salt and pepper also represent the harmony between opposites, stillness and movement, coolness and warmth, light and dark. This balance subtly affects how people feel. A table without them may seem like it is missing something small but important. Their presence, on the other hand, makes the space feel cared for and complete. Small as they are, they can greatly impact the mood because they give structure and a sense of order to the environment. So keeping salt and pepper on the dining table is not just a convenient habit. It is a way to maintain quiet balance in the home. When the space has all the elements that feel just right, people's emotions tend to be more stable, their thinking more clear, and mealtime becomes a genuine moment of rest. These steady emotions are what help create a solid foundation for prosperity and peace in family life. Now that you understand why a few small objects can help keep the dining table warm and harmonious, it is equally important to know that not everything belongs on the dining table. Some items may look perfectly normal, but once placed on the table, they can quickly create a heavy, imbalanced atmosphere. First item to avoid: keys and wallets. Keys and wallets carry the energy of movement, of places to go, things to do, unfinished business. When they show up on the dining table, a space meant for connection and slowing down suddenly feels like it is being pulled back into the rush. The table should be a place where people return to a slower rhythm, but keys and wallets bring with them traces of urgency, subtly draining the warmth from the meal in ways no one notices right away. Even when it just sits there, a wallet constantly reminds us of things to worry about. expenses, plans, and responsibilities. Its presence unconsciously weighs on the mind, like a piece of the outside world barging into family time. The dining table should bring ease, but a wallet suggests caution, calculation, and protection. Emotions that tighten us up instead of allowing us to open. Keys, on the other hand, bring a different energy. They are linked to leaving the house, movement, and transitions. When keys are placed on the dining table, it can feel like the space is not truly closed off, as if everyone is still half ready to leave, not fully settled into the moment. This small detail can subtly interrupt the peaceful energy of the meal, making it harder to achieve that deep sense of connection families are looking for. Second item, bills, debt notices, and fines. Bills, debt statements, and tickets carry the clear energy of pressure and responsibility. They remind us of payments due, problems to solve, and often worries we have not even put into words yet. When these papers are placed on the dining table, a space meant for relaxation and togetherness suddenly feels emotionally heavier than it needs to be. Mealtime is when people need to disconnect from financial stress. But these papers pull the mind right back to calculation mode. These documents also interrupt the calm rhythm of a meal by triggering the feeling that something needs to be handled. And this impact does not just affect the person who placed them there. It spreads to others around the table too. Eyes can easily drift toward numbers and notices, making it hard to stay present. The table should feel light, but bills represent unfinished business, making the space feel burdened instead of bonding. Moreover, financial documents often bring with them a sense of something open rather than something closed, because they relate to decisions that have yet to be made. When they are left on the table, even unintentionally, the mind becomes restless. This small emotional disturbance prevents the space from settling into stillness and lowers the quality of the moment, making the meal feel less complete. Third item, medicine. While associated with healing, also carries the emotional weight of illness, fatigue, and imbalance. When placed on the dining table, a space meant for nourishment and relaxation suddenly feels more serious and less peaceful. Pills and bottles remind us of what the body is lacking or struggling with, an energy that disrupts the emotional balance of a meal, which is supposed to restore us. Just seeing a bottle of medicine, even in passing, can reduce appetite or the sense of calm that meals are meant to provide. Without anyone saying a word, it triggers thoughts about health issues or unresolved stress. The table loses its gentle rhythm and instead becomes a subtle reminder of problems, making it harder for family members to connect with ease and warmth. Additionally, medicine creates visual and emotional clutter. Its shapes, colors, and purpose do not belong at the dining table, and their presence breaks the natural sense of order and cleanliness so important to a satisfying meal. This kind of intrusion disrupts the harmony of the space, subtly lowering people's mood and making it harder for the meal to feel as nourishing, physically or emotionally, as it should. Fourth item, leftover food and dirty dishes. Leftover food and dirty dishes always carry the feeling of something unfinished or interrupted, making the dining table lose its natural sense of cleanliness and completeness. When bits of uneaten food or unwashed bowls and plates are left on the table, the space can quickly feel heavy and untidy, reducing the overall comfort of the room. A dining table needs simplicity to bring a sense of relaxation, but leftovers represent things that are already over or no longer needed, creating visual and emotional clutter. The presence of dirty dishes also takes away the warmth and order that a meal should bring. They bring to mind unfinished chores and messiness, unintentionally pulling people's attention away from the present moment. Even a small amount of clutter can make it hard to focus and enjoy the experience. The dining space, in turn, becomes less harmonious, and it becomes harder for the meal to provide the lightness and ease that every family hopes to feel when they gather. Moreover, leftover food and dirty dishes break the structure of the living space. They strip the dining table of its role as a place of connection and energy renewal. When clutter appears in the very spot that should be the cleanest and most elegant, mealtime can start to feel like just another task to get through, rather than a meaningful moment of bonding. This does not only affect the mood, it also takes away the feeling of calm and connection that every meal should offer the family. Fifth item, cleaning sprays and disinfectants. Cleaning sprays and disinfectant bottles may represent cleanliness, but their energy is more about elimination and intensity, qualities that clash with the nurturing role of the dining table. When these bottles are placed on the table, the atmosphere quickly shifts to something dry and overly sterile. Even a faint scent of chemicals can be enough to dull the senses and make it harder to enjoy the full flavor and feeling of the space. Their presence also breaks the emotional flow of the meal. Cleaning sprays bring to mind chores, stains, and sterilization, activities associated with tension and haste. When they show up during mealtime, they pull people out of the comfort of the moment and create the feeling that something is incomplete, as if you are stuck between two tasks. As a result, what should be a time for rest becomes something fragmented and less fulfilling. Beyond that, the appearance of spray bottles and harsh cleaners clashes with the softness and warmth the table should embody. Their shapes, colors, and functions do not belong in a space meant for nourishment, and they erase the natural sense of order and calm. When chemicals are on the table, it becomes harder to create a soft, warm meal environment. The sense of togetherness subtly fades, often without people even realizing it. As you can see, just a few misplaced items on the dining table can be enough to slowly weigh down the entire atmosphere in your home, quietly blocking the natural flow of luck, warmth, and positivity, without anyone truly realizing what is going on beneath the surface. These small disruptions might seem harmless at first glance, but over time, they begin to influence the emotional energy of the space in subtle yet powerful ways. The dining table, which is meant to be a place of calm, connection, and shared comfort, can unintentionally turn into a source of tension, restlessness, and emotional distance if not cared for with attention. But here is the good news. From that very same table, once the right items are placed with mindfulness, care, and a clear sense of positive intention, the energy in the room can shift almost instantly. The entire space begins to feel noticeably lighter, brighter, and far more open, not just in appearance, but in the way it feels to be in it. It is as if balance has been gently and naturally restored, and suddenly, the path for prosperity, happiness, emotional clarity, and even unexpected blessings becomes perfectly clear, allowing them to enter your home freely, effortlessly, and to settle into the space where they are truly welcomed, deeply appreciated, and able to grow. In the end, what truly matters is not about elaborate rituals or complicated traditions. It is about how you intentionally create a space that feels good to be in. A dining table that is tidy, warm, and thoughtfully cared for always brings a deeper sense of peace. And it is that very peace that paves the way for other good things to come: harmony, abundance, and even unexpected blessings. Before you go, Leave a comment filled with positive energy to help keep the good vibes flowing. My family is welcoming prosperity and peace each and every day. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button so we can keep walking together through these gentle feng shui stories, helping your home grow more balanced, more welcoming, and more abundant with every new day.